been confused as of late, yeah.
Hey kids, you wanna talk about how the White Lily update, aka the BC update, failed as an update for an ancient? I sure do! Hi, my name is Sophie, and today I want to discuss why the BC's update was just not a good update to introduce White Lily Cookie. So, this subject has been circulating in my mind a bit. It was first, introduced to me through Twitter, because a lot of people were, expressing their distaste with the update. At first, I didn't want to hear anything of it, because personally, I like this update, but when I took my break off Twitter and started thinking on my own, I was like, hey, you know what? They might be cooking. They might be right. This update may have not been it. So, allow me to, explain my and, other people's disappointment with this update and why this update overall was just not, was not, the best for White Lily Cookie. So, for starters, I want to start off that first of all, this is an anniversary update, and it might be the most disappointing one, because of this first aspect. I'm gonna brush it off really quickly because I'm not super knowledgeable in this, but I read a thread about it and I thought it was important to, point this out. But a reason why this update is just boring is because the events were boring. There weren't any new mini games or that stuff, aside from the little card minigame. Every other minigame was just repeated battle sequences, which is just lame. At least in my part, I thought they were gonna, I think we all expected, some minigames to come back and stuff, but no, it's just repeated battle, and it's just boring. Now, let's talk about the second aspect of this update, which I'm pretty sure this is the aspect that disappointed a lot more people, and it's the lore. The biggest complaint with this update is that the lore didn't focus much on White Lily Cookie. And I can defend this because in this update, they also decided to introduce so many things as well. Not only did they want to introduce White Lily Cookie, but they wanted to introduce a whole new kingdom, a whole new continent, and literally, the beasts. So, a lot of big things all put in one update. So, unfortunately, to be able to, present each thing, they had to cut away some time for White Lily Cookie. Personally, I don't think her time was cut that much. We still get to see her and that's but I can understand the frustration because this is her update. But unfortunately, since she's introduced with so many things, the update doesn't end up being about her. She's just sharing the spotlight with so many other things. Another aspect about this update that a lot of people don't like, which I understand too, but didn't really affect me as much, is that this update didn't really focus that much on White Lily as a character. Instead, it just focused on at least a lot of the focus was on White Lily and her relationship with the king and Pure Vanilla. It was giving love triangle, but it's not a love triangle. Yeah. That is another complaint, which I can understand. Personally, that didn't really bother me, but it is annoying because, again, this is the White Lily update, and it's barely about White Lily. Well, not barely, she is still there, but you got what I'm saying. She's not the full center of attention, and when she has attention, it's shared with two men. Now, this last part of the lore is the one that bothered me the most, and it's one that I want to share because I kind of feel like this part of the lore just kind of ruined White Lily in a way. So, the reason why White Lily is so special compared to the other ancients is because she was completely different. Unlike the other ancients, she didn't have a kingdom. She didn't have, people to follow her. She was always on her own, always exploring, searching for the truth and knowledge. Her being so different from the other Asians, or at least her, not fitting the Asian formula, is what made her very unique and that stuff. But then at the end, she just gets the fairy kingdom. Listen, I don't think it's bad that, she now has a kingdom of her own, but it just felt so forced. It just felt like Dev Sisters was right, we need White Lily to fit the ancient quota. Quick, give her a kingdom of the dead king. So, yeah, her having a kingdom just doesn't feel right. I'm not saying she didn't earn it, but just White Lily does not feel like the character that she should have a kingdom. I thought something. I think it like fits her better if she like had an if she if she founded an academy based on all the things she's learned and that stuff, but like her just being the new fairy guardian slash queen, essentially, it just feels like they were just trying to fill in a quota. Like, oh, she's an ancient, she just must have a kingdom, which is like, no. What made her special is that she was so different from everyone else. But now she's like placed in this box. Also, another reason why I don't like that ending is that now that she's the fairy queen slash guardian, she can't leave. Like, now she's essentially tied to the silver tree. So they kind of like wrote themselves in a very awkward position because like she can't leave. Like I remember one of the lines that Elder Fairy says when you press him is that like he can't be far from his kingdom for too long because of the silver tree. So it's like they've essentially anchored down White Lily to be stuck in Beastie / in the fairy kingdom. And it just feels so contrived. Moral of the story, I feel like the devs got very ambitious with this update. They flew way too close to the sun. Instead of making an update solely based on White Lily, the final ancient, mind you, they instead tried to introduce so many things at once that it just ended up being very convoluted and messy. It also actually lost focus on what this whole update was supposed to be about, and that's White Lily. She just essentially, in a way, became like a side character to her own story. Well, not essentially a side character, but she surely wasn't like the main focus all the time, that's for sure. And yeah, in a nutshell, that is my grievance and like the grievance of many other fans about this update. What do you think? Did you enjoy this update fully, or did you not? What were you the most disappointed about this update? What do you like most about this update? Let me know. I genuinely would like to know what you think. Thank you for hearing me talk about the funny cookie game again. Until next time.
Krainę zapomnienia, w głowie myśli mam. Kiedy skończy się ten stan, już nie będę sam, bo wiedzie biały